Hi, today I'm going to talk about the beauty world in 2019, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the future. What does the future hold for the beauty industry? Is it going to be beautiful, or has the bubble burst for the beauty industry? And is the no makeup look actually going to mean no makeup? Find out. 2019 began on a serious note with the tragic death of Brandon Truax, The Ordinary's founder, in January, and there had been a lot of drama surrounding The Ordinary, particularly after Brandon took over their social media. The messages that were being put out were very different from messages that had come out on The Ordinary social media prior to Brandon's takeover. You can see some of that. I had touched on some of that drama in a similar 2018 beauty roundup. I link that in the description box below if you want to see. With Estee Lauder's taking over of The Ordinary, things changed a bit, and there was a court order saying that Brandon had to step down, and things escalated to a point, and Brandon clearly did not receive the help that he needed, that he required, and things ended with his tragic death in January. The Ordinary, though, has bounced back from all that and is continuing to grow from strength to strength. And despite there being a few rivals in affordable skincare, in the science-driven, the ingredient-driven affordable skincare niche, we'll talk about that in a minute. Despite that, The Ordinary has bounced back nicely, which is heartening to see. The Ordinary wasn't the only brand to be dramatic in 2019. Sunday Riley got into a lot of hot water with the allegations that employees were asked to see positive reviews on various websites. This escalated, and a number of influencers said on social media openly that Sunday Riley was not the only brand doing this. But of course, they didn't mention any names, obviously, because that would affect their relationship with said brands, wouldn't it? This is very, similar to what happens in the media industry as well, because a number of media persons know a lot of things that celebrities or organizations or corporations get up to. Let's just say that there's enough dirt. But publishing all that would see to it that the media person, that the journalist in question would never get an interview, that a lot of sources would be cut off, so they don't publish. Drunk Elephant was another brand to get caught up in drama on social media, with a lot of comments being made. Let's just leave it there and move on, because this is not a place where drama thrives. Now, a number of influencers also chose to air dirty laundry in public, which I think should not be the case in the beauty community. Because, look, I think that putting every aspect of your life on the darn internet is the biggest cause for this happening. I'm on YouTube. There are a lot of things that you lot don't know about me, that you won't know about me. You won't know what I had for breakfast this morning, and you probably never will, because I don't think you should put your entire life on the internet. I think we're here to talk about beauty. So let's talk about beauty, not what I have for breakfast, or my favorite TV show, or whom I'm dating, or anything of that sort. It's when you do that things are, because I think there should be a certain line between your personal life and your YouTube life. And when that line is crossed, then this becomes a problem. I mean, it's not like everybody's entitled to know everything about these people, so I don't see why there is so much dirty laundry being aired in public. Right, I promise that's the last bit of drama. Now, the $532 billion beauty industry, yes, that is the beauty industry situation in 2019, $532 billion worth industry, saw an unprecedented number of eyeshadow palettes being launched in 2019. A lot of these were samey, to be honest, and one brand, ABH alone, had palette releases in double figures. There are two sides to this. The first side is that the brand, obviously wants to drive sales and increase their profits by, palettes are, an easy way, and, a certain fear of missing out when you create that limited editions, for instance, everybody wants to buy. The other side is that this creates a certain kind of saturation, I've been there, I've seen this, I don't care-ness, which spoils makeup for everybody. And this becomes a huge turn-off. Nobody needs every palette every time. It's not just eyeshadow palettes this year. This year there's been an unprecedented number of foundations being launched as well. from Zova, from ABH, from Pat McGrath, from Nude Sticks, from Juvia's Place, from Charlotte Tilbury, from Urban Decay, from Benefit, from Oma. So many brands launched foundations. I bought just the one. With foundations, I have this, if it ain't broken, don't fix it attitude, you know. So I don't try every blasted foundation that launches, and I couldn't care less, to be honest. Because if a foundation works for you, keep buying it. And have a backup in your mind, but that's it really. Otherwise, you know, you don't need every foundation that launches. So everything was so samey that it was easy not to buy. It was easy not to get caught up in that mad, you know, plethora of launches. And as a result of all these launches, were there any profits? Think about this. Benefit is the only US-based prestige beauty brand to avoid a decline in 2019. Benefit's sales rose by 3% in the first half of 2019. No other brand's sales rose by any percent in the first half of 2019. Think about that. And eyebrow products drove 40% of the sales for Benefit, not eyeshadow palettes. It was eyebrow products that drove 40%. Benefit sort of marketed themselves in the brow game now. They're owning the brow game at the moment. And, you know, with good reason. I mean, it's, you know, 40% of their sales. So obviously they're going to concentrate on that. But you know, all those people concentrating on palettes, are they seeing results? I mean, groups, you know, such as the Estee Lauder Group or the L'Oreal Group, they saw profits, obviously. They aren't suffering at all. We're talking about individual brands here. Benefit is the only individual US-based prestige brand to see a profit in 2019, in the first half particularly of 2019. And they did not have palettes then. It was eyebrow products driving 40% of their sales. Think about that. So we're definitely seeing too many collections. I would like to see smaller palettes, smaller quads and, you know, quintets and, you know, 9 eyeshadow palettes, really small ones that you can nip into your suitcase that, you know, and particular collections like we used to have. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, holiday. 3 collections a year. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, holiday. Not a palette every week. Not a giant palette every week. I mean, I can understand a fast fashion, fast makeup brand such as Revolution doing this because that is their MO, that is their modus operandi. However, a brand such as ABH doing this, that's very surprising. They are a Sephora-based prestige brand. A palette a week doesn't look good. It looks a bit desperate, really, to me. We also saw a number of influencer collabs and influencer brands and influencer launches in 2019, quite a few with hair and fiber. Let's not go there. Between you and I, over influencer collabs, I prefer themes, you know, Sleeping Beauty. Colourpop does that a lot, Disney. Anne of Green Gables, a Korean brand, Romand, had an Anne of Green Gables makeup collection. I've reviewed that. Description box. So that's the sort of thing that I like seeing. Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord of the Rings, you name it, Frozen. Not random influencers collaborating. One good thing that's come out of all these launches is the demand for skin color inclusivity, particularly when it comes to foundation shades. So we're seeing more brands coming forward, you know, apart from Fenty, we've seen Mented Cosmetics, Live Tinted Cosmetics, Urban Skin RX. Next year, Coloured Rain is launching their first foundation. I'm very happy to see this. One brand, however, has taken it one step further. Huda Beauty has launched, I've reviewed this here and in the description box below, eyeshadow palettes, nude eyeshadow palettes for every skin tone. So there's light, medium and rich. And one thing that I really, really love, she's called this one rich. Not nude dark, not nude deep, not nude black, nude rich. Rich is associated with wealthy. I know a lot of people will take offense at this, but you know, I feel that those skin tones are rich. That's the way to describe them best. And the negative connotations attached to the words dark, deep, you don't have that with nude rich. I am so happy that she's called this one nude rich. Kudos to her for this one. I hope we see more similar, you know, I mean, eyeshadow palettes for various skin tones in 2020 and beyond. That would be lovely. It wasn't just with foundations and even eyeshadows. It was the case with lipstick as well. Gucci did something nobody had ever done before when they used Danny Miller, look at that, as the face of their lipstick launch campaign. Gucci launched some lipsticks this year. I've reviewed those. I'll link all of that in the description box below. I bought 5 simply because veneering and whitening and bleaching, all that sort of thing, and Invisalign. I mean, I don't have perfect teeth. I have tombstone chompers, and some of them twisted when my wisdom teeth came. Now all my wisdom teeth are gone. Despite that, the alignment of my teeth isn't even at all. So it was wonderful to see Danny Miller as the face of the Gucci lipstick launch. So I bought 5 of them just because. So I think we're going to see more inclusivity when it comes to campaigns. And inclusivity isn't just for, makeup products and skincare. I feel that a certain demographic has been completely ignored because all the models that we're seeing, irrespective of skin color, irrespective of even teeth, they are of a certain age group. And a survey revealed that 74% baby boomers feel unrepresented in the beauty industry by beauty campaigns. That is awful. Some brands have tried to make a change here. Some brands have included people like Helen Mirren in their campaigns. But, it's too little, too late. And I feel that more people from across age groups ought to be included in order for full diversity. It's not just about skin tone here. Another trend that I've noticed is that there's a lot of beauty meets tech these days. There's more devices than ever before. There's massage devices, microcurrent devices, LED and blue light and red light therapy devices, 3D scanners. Neutrogena launched their 360-degree scanner. So we're going to see more tech, definitely. And virtual try-ons are going to become more popular going forward. I think that every brand, every retailer selling online is going to provide virtual try-ons in the coming decade. I think, like we look back upon the 1990s, the pencil-thin eyebrows of the 1990s, the frosty eyeshadows, the shoulder pads and the blue eyeshadow of the 1980s, and the big hair of the 1970s, and the flared pants and everything. We are going to look back upon this decade and eventually laugh at the heavy contouring and the brushed up eyebrows, because that's been a huge, huge, huge trend throughout this decade, including this year. And, dewy skins continued this year. We've seen very silver inner right corners. We've seen the coming of coloured mascara. This decade's trends have been very interesting, to say the least. However, although the matte lipstick trend isn't going to go anywhere, towards the new year, we've seen a number of sparkly lipstick launches. We've seen Dior, Chantecaille, Omar all launch, very sparkling, very beautiful lipsticks. MAC has some as well. So that's a very nice trend to see, because, you don't want to have just matte lipsticks all over the place. And it's, I don't think the trend is disappearing, but, there's going to be a mix. There's going to be sparkling lipsticks as well. We've also seen the rise of affordable, ingredient-driven, science-driven skincare with minimalist packaging and transparent pricing. That trend is continuing. We have the Inkey List, Good Molecules, Glossier continuing to do what The Ordinary did, and are releasing skincare that is ingredient-centric, not, packaging-centric, and very minimal marketing involved as well. So the rise of skintellectuals, that is, those who are aware of the science that goes into skincare, the science behind skincare, what ingredient does what, how, the mechanism of how things work, how glycolic acid, for instance, off the top of my head, how that works. So the rise of skintellectuals is also continuing unabated. This year we've also seen a number of products with hemp or CBD. Aurelia Probiotics recently launched a hemp serum. I am not sure how far this trend will continue. First of all, does it actually do anything? There aren't any proven results, and I haven't seen any before and after based reviews. Or is it too early? Maybe we'll see them in 2020, but if we don't, that trend may not last much longer. Secondly, I'm not sure how far the regulations will go, or, will allow for these brands to launch CBD or hemp-based products willy-nilly. I'm not sure how that is going to work. Let's wait and watch, yeah? But I'm happy to see that, there is stricter labeling in skincare now. Earlier, there used to just be hydrolyzed vegetable protein. Now everybody there is a rule that says you've got to say if it's hydrolyzed wheat protein or hydrolyzed soy protein or hydrolyzed corn protein. So those who are allergic to wheat can avoid products with hydrolyzed wheat protein. I feel this is very important. And I also feel that this should be slightly, there should be an allergen section in the labels. That's to help people such as, until earlier this year, I had no idea that skincare could even contain such products. So that was a huge eye-opener for me. On the other hand, if you had an allergen information section on each label, that would have helped. We've seen a number of acquisitions and takeovers in this $530 billion beauty industry. Yes, the beauty industry is worth $530 billion. I can't get over my surprise. I'll probably be saying that a dozen times. We've seen Drunk Elephant being taken over by Shiseido. We've seen Colgate-Palmolive taking over Filorga. We've seen Estee Lauder recently taking over Dr. Jart. Unilever took over Tatcha. Coty bought stake in Kylie Cosmetics. L'Occitane took over Elemis. In the UK, the Hut Group took over hair care brand Christopher Robin. But despite so many takeovers and acquisitions, indie brands, especially in makeup, are continuing to thrive. We have Melt Cosmetics and Profusion Cosmetics and Furine, and boutique brands such as Liza Eldridge and Victoria Beckham, all thriving very much and selling out. So it's rather a mixed bag there. On the one hand, you have major acquisitions by huge conglomerates. On the other hand, you have indie brands continuing to thrive. So that means that the decade ahead is going to be very interesting as we see what happens. One very positive trend that I've noticed in the beauty industry of late, a very heartening trend, is the sustainability drive. Ren, for instance, has promised to make all their packaging recycled. Unilever has promised to halve their use of all virgin plastic. L'Oreal has committed to using entirely paper-based tubes by 2020 and has invested in plastic recycling. A number of shampoo and conditioner bars have launched. So that's a very positive trend, and I think it's so important that companies invest in environmental sustainability because, with climate change being such a huge problem and humankind being on the verge of a major crisis and a mass extinction itself, I think beauty brands have to pay attention to this and do whatever they can. So as we enter a new decade, what does the future hold for the beauty industry, the whole makeup and skincare world as a whole? There is a certain fear of quality deterioration with this mad rate of launches. If you look at a certain brand that launched double-figure palettes this year, for instance, their earlier palettes, Modern Renaissance, for it, and right, I didn't mention any names, but that was a dead giveaway, wasn't it? Modern Renaissance, top quality, the Novena pigment palettes, powdery, loads of alright, they were pigment palettes, fine. But even other palettes I've heard, I've seen, I haven't tried, I haven't bought. But I've been told they're not the same. So yeah, you don't have my word for it, I only have hearsay here. But even so, I've heard enough people that I trust, tell me that the quality isn't the same. So is this mad rate of launches going to lead to a certain deterioration in quality? Or will scaling back to, as I said, 2 or 3 collections a year, spring, summer, autumn, winter, holiday, will that help preserve quality, preserve the interest in launches? And how bad is this mad rate of launches going to be for the environment, for sustainability, not just for sales and popularity and for quality, but also for the environment? Is all this going to end up as landfill as people declutter or, as things expire? Brands need to think about that one as well. I feel that a lot of brands are going to have to take a very close look at their packaging, external and PR packaging. That's another thing that brands need to look at. How is all that going to affect the environment? How much landfill does the beauty industry really contribute? We know that Coca-Cola and Pepsi and all those brands, Unilever, are all big contributors to landfill, and they're doing nothing about it. So far, despite Unilever being there in the consumer and food industry as well as the beauty industry, so far the beauty industry has not been accused of being a major contributor to landfill and ocean plastic pollution in the oceans. Will that change? It will, unless a close look is taken at the packaging and at sustainability and at the rate of launches. So brands are going to have to find a balance between quantity and quality while remaining sustainable and while remaining relevant and sort of in the news. At the same time, I feel that there's going to be more inclusivity in eyeshadows and lipsticks. As I told you, Huda's genius idea of launching a different nude palette for every skin tone. That sort of thing. We're going to see more lipsticks for every skin tone. We've seen something like that before. Rimmel had one, for instance. L'Oreal had another. But, you know, that sort of thing is going to continue. We're going to see more eyeshadow palettes for every skin tone and more lipsticks for every skin tone, which I think is good because inclusivity is never a bad thing. And we're also going to see the rise of more inexpensive and affordable skincare. More brands are going to enter this stream. And that's good because, you know, rather than random anti-aging cream, miracle serum, and that sort of thing, it's good to see, you know, glycolic acid, retinol, salicylic acid, peptides, right there in your skincare. You know what that contains. That is good. That sort of thing is going to grow. Now, as for the influencer shenanigans, I feel that the future of that lies actually in your hands. I mean, if somebody's going to sell PR samples on the internet, something that they got free, or, you know, if somebody's going to pass off PR samples as something that they manufactured, and the viewers don't have a problem with that, then, you know, that person's going to continue unaffected. On the other hand, if people avoid, I'm not going to use the word cancel here, cancel culture. Back in, you know, my granddad's time, they just called it boycott and were done with it. You know, if everybody's going to avoid watching them because, you know, nobody trusts them anymore, then that's it, you know, that bubble has burst. So I feel that influencer shenanigans, the future of that lies in your hands. Now, overall, I feel that the beauty industry is going nowhere and that the future of the beauty industry is going to be positive, not negative. I feel that brands will learn, will go in for sustainability, will go in for affordability, will go in for inclusivity. We've seen a lot of flack when, you know, brands are too few shades. So there will be more inclusivity, there will be more sustainability, there will be more affordability, there will be more ingredient-driven, science-based, there will be less drama. I feel that it's all going to be positive. Now, one thing about the beauty industry is that recession doesn't really affect the beauty industry. It's called the lipstick effect. When money is tight and you want to treat yourself, you can't take that huge holiday. You can't, you know, treat yourself to jewelry. You can't buy a Chanel handbag or something. What you can do is buy yourself a little lipstick without feeling the crunch too much. So it's called the lipstick effect. So as a result, the beauty industry is not going to be affected too much. And, you know, you add to that things like very high margins. The margins in the beauty industry are huge. It doesn't cost too much to produce this thing. It doesn't really cost much. But the price, you know, is, you know what the price is. So there are huge margins in the beauty industry. So, and I also feel that there are several demographics, several markets that are entirely untapped, that aren't, you know, catered to. And once that happens, there's only going to be growth. There's only going to be a boom in the beauty industry. Now, the beauty industry is projected to grow from $532 billion this year to $800 billion by 2025. So in almost 5.5 to 6 years' time, there's going to be $800 billion in the beauty industry. Right now, it's only $532 billion. So growth is going to be there, aided by things like high margins, the lipstick effect, and hopefully brands' willingness to adapt circumstances, to provide inclusivity, sustainability, to provide a certain frequency of launches that doesn't overwhelm, by providing quality, not just quantity, by providing affordable, ingredient-driven, sensible skincare products like that, by following trends carefully, and most importantly, hopefully, by staying away from drama. It's going to be very interesting. Watch this space. I will be keeping you posted in 2020 and beyond, hopefully, for all the news and the drama and the buzz that takes place in the beauty industry. So what are your thoughts on the beauty industry as a whole in 2019 in particular, over the last decade in general, and for the future? Do you feel positive? Would you like to see any specific changes? Do you feel that something has stood out for you? Please do tell me all of that in the comments below. I would love to know. I would like to throw open the door for a discussion in the comments. So please do kick it off, somebody, and let's take it from there. Let's talk about this. Let's keep it pleasant. Let's agree to disagree. Yeah, this is a family-friendly, positive space, drama-free zone. So do tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk. Are you a fan of fast beauty, fast fashion? Do you feel that brands are doing enough for sustainability? Do you think more should be done? Would you like to see more inclusivity? Do you feel that there's enough inclusivity? What is the kind of inclusivity that you have in mind? What trends have stood out for you? What trends have you hated over the last decade in general and year in particular? What trends would you like to see in 2020 and the decade ahead? Please tell me all of that in the comments below, and let's discuss this. So that's all from me for today. Thank you for watching this video. Please do give me a thumbs up. Please do hit the subscribe button. Please do ring the notifications bell, and I'll speak to you soon.